Hey everyone, this is GosuDad and welcome back to Season 5 of the Blizzard Online Ladder, and once again we are playing live, casting live as I play a Terran versus Zerg game. Slightly favored Zerg player in the map Entombed Valley. Looks like a 4-player map. This is a new map, I believe, for Season 5. So once again I'll be trying out my focus on economy and production and going for that 2-1-1 build, my build your own Banshee build from last time. We'll see how well that works against a Zerg player. So I'll be building up for a 3-tank, 2 Banshee, bunch of Marines sort of push. Be interesting to see what the Zerg player does with that. There's a fair chance I'll catch them with an expansion, but it'll be interesting to see what he does. There's a lot of Zerg players that like to do an early roach rush up the ramp to try to break that initial wall to put the Terran player back on their feet. But we'll see what this guy does today. I got that hotkey set up. Good luck, have fun, and we are off to the races. So one of the minor things you can do to one of the you too lover, huh? So one of the minor things you can do to slightly increase your production capability is to directly tell your SCVs where to go when they are built. As you can see, you can direct your SCVs to an appropriate mineral patch instead of them having to navigate to the empty one on their own, saving minute amounts of time. And it'll be just interesting to see where this game goes. So playing Treehugger, don't know what tier of the Blizzard Online Ladder he is in, but should be expecting, I mean, it's a pretty long map, so should be expecting an early expand from him, and we won't do anything to try to take advantage of that. Once again, we'll just be going for a build where we focus on just building up to that 2-tank or a 3-tank or so 2 Banshee kind of thing. So I'm gonna go for an early refinery here. Be interesting to see when his drone makes his way across the map, and if he will lead me directly to his base when my SCVs turn around to attack his drone. So I'm going to take my own advice and try to move this rally point around the minerals. Doesn't make that much of a big difference. Once again, here we're in the Bronze League, so it really doesn't matter some of these minute, what do you call it, kind of minute changes that people try to do to increase their efficiency. So this barracks is almost done, and as you can see, I'm not really sure that there's much of an advantage to I'll just go ahead and wall this off here. Can't really see that there's much of an advantage of holding off on building the second barracks, although it does give me the money to go ahead and upgrade my command center to an orbital command. And once again, this is more of an advantage upgrading to an orbital command if you... Well, this guy's almost going to be done in time, but if you are going to spend more time in that phase. Actually, I wonder... You know what? I'm going to go ahead and send this SCV out and see what's going on. It's more of an advantage the longer it's available. So if you're going to be doing some kind of push like I am, as an example, then it may not be as much of an advantage for you to go ahead and do that. So it looks like, ooh, he's got a drone, barely made it in time, and I'm just going to go ahead and let him live. That's no big problem for me there. Grabbing that Zelnaga tower, and I'm going to go ahead and try to scout out the... oh, now look at that. I have plenty of minerals and gas to build my factory, so I should go ahead and do that. Looks like there's not an early expansion here. We'll see if he's up here. Looks like he's not there. Okay, be looking for an early expansion, and I didn't really want to do that. I want to be building this. I'm going to go ahead and cancel him and start that tech lab. I know that's kind of a whoopsie there, but just going to be continuing to pump out Marines and SCVs and calling down mules. And I will need some more gas for that starport when it comes out. That was one thing that I noticed was a little bit different. Okay, oh, there you can see the early expansion. I'm going to go ahead and give his drone some trouble here. Looks like he's going for... I don't know if I'm going to survive that one. Oh! Okay. Alright. Ooh, what am I doing there? I'm terrible! Okay, so we're going to get that that thing going, and gonna go ahead and start that siege research, and go ahead and start building that starport. And ooh, I have so much resources at this point. I guess I could build a... I don't know if I should build that, but that's okay. Alright, so let's get these guys on a hotkey. Go ahead and get this on a hotkey. And get that first tank, going, but I can't. I'm gonna have to put a little supply thing on that guy, which is, that's not really desired here. Now you'll notice, remember last time we were way ahead. When we were way ahead on minerals, we went ahead and built an expansion. So this is a little bit different than last time, but that is a-okay. Oh, look at that, we still have enough to go ahead and build an expansion. So we'll go ahead and do that. My opponent has already expanded, so I'm going to try to keep that in mind, that since my opponent has already expanded, I'm a little bit behind here. Now let's go ahead and keep these guys to the side. And yeah, see, as you can see, I'm really not sure that building this extra barracks was really necessary. Yeah, see, I'm running out of minerals here. So I'm not sure how much of an advantage that really was to do that. I'm gonna have to wait for my gas to get large enough to start that second tank. I can go ahead and set up the tank here in siege mode. That's kind of nice. I remember last time when we played, there was a moment where he sent guys up the ramp, and I was able to kill a bunch of units that way, which I won't be able to do this time. Let's go ahead. So this time may be a little more typical as far as the I guess might be a little more typical. We're gonna go ahead and send that out. Is that right? Yeah, we'll go ahead and build a marauder. Marauders are okay. Ooh, and we'll go ahead and upgrade him. And it looks like we have plenty of supply, but I'm gonna go ahead and these guys are all building. Nope. 1, 2, and oh, he's not building. Now I don't really have any detection at this point, so that may be a good thing for me to build next. One of the things I have to worry about is the possibility that he will go for some kind of aggressive counterattack right back into my base, but I know where he's at. Boy, 1, 2, 3.
Additional supply depots required.
And let's go ahead and rally that Banshee to that Banshee, and we'll plop down a little expansion thing there. And we'll go ahead and, alright, here we go, y'all. We all ready for this? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and rally down to this point, and let's go ahead and do it. Okay, let's bring a bunch of SCVs down here, and then let's take a handful. Let's not take that handful. Let's take a handful with us. And we got our Marines and our tanks and our Banshees. And we just come down here. Okay.
Additional supply depots.
Additional supply depots required. Yeah, we're it's terrible. We're getting all distracted with the micro here, getting excited for this big push. But you know, that's one of the things that we have to be careful about here, is that we don't get too carried away with all of this micromanagement here, and just continue to yeah, we're going to have skyrocketing economy here in a second, so I really need to kind of stay on the ball here with that. So that'll be interesting for me to try to keep up with this macro at the same time. But here we go, we better go for a push before our time is too late. This timing is pretty critical as far as my units being able to come up. And one thing I did a little bit differently this time, which is nice, that I didn't do before. Whoops. Come on. I'm trying to double click these guys. It's kind of difficult to do together. try to keep these guys together as they go across the map. And let's go ahead and do this so we can kill some of these guys. Is that timing? Ooh, Banelings. That's interesting. Wow. That was interesting. Ooh. Hydralisk and a Queen. Being expecting a big counterattack coming here from the Zerg player, so it looks like that massive push is not going to work. So we should probably be rallying these guys down and be ready to pull this up at a moment's notice. Yeah, this is gonna be bad. Oh, it's gonna be terrible. So I'm gonna put a tank up there, put some guys down here to try to defend. Could be expecting a very large Baneling bust around here somewhere. Banelings should be around here somewhere. So he killed just a ton of guys all at once there. So that was, you know, really good on his part.
Not enough energy.
Okay, so I'm really gonna have to ramp up the production of army units at this point. So that first attack failed pretty miserably. Although, you know what? Even though on one hand it may seem like it failed, there was a lot of units spent on those Banelings. I mean, even though those Banelings, you know, killed a bunch of my units, he loses the Banelings when that happens. And so there is quite the possibility for I'm gonna put that down there and get some mules coming down here and just continue to build units at a good clip. Go ahead and start building some medevacs here and see what we got going on here. Now it'd be really nice, ooh, look at that. It'd be really nice to see what's going on over here. Let's see, maybe we should just scan over here and just make sure we don't have a little surprise coming for myself. So let's walk these guys around over here and see what's going on to make sure I don't got a that's terrible. I don't have a surprise over here on this side of the base. It looks like we're gonna be okay, so let's just continue to build off of this. And you can tell I am not making the most advantage of my now remember I did see some Mutalisks, so I should probably be putting some missile turrets back here to protect my the rear of the base. Mutalisk harassment, very popular for Zerg players of all levels. I think it's one of the most powerful strategies you can do. So I would highly recommend Zerg players to do Mutalisk harassment. And as you can see here, I'm trying to keep most of my units busy on a nice rotating schedule here, and trying to go ahead and build stuff. I don't know how well I'm doing keeping up on the speed of on my supply blocked. I'm doing okay. I'm keeping keeping up the building of things. I anticipate I'm going to have some trouble there. And ooh, look, ooh, a mass of guys here. That's just going to go ahead and call that good and move these guys over here. Ooh, and they're coming down here. Let's go ahead and do another one here. And let's pull these guys inside. Let's pull these guys up to the front. And looks like I can see something over there. Let's go ahead and send her out and see what she can see. Just chase him away. Oh, looks like there's another guy over here. That was fun. Completely worthless. Okay, let's go ahead and just continue to build out of that. Is it worth it to build I don't know. He's been building a lot of little Zergling guys. I'm not sure how important it is to be building some of these other things. Now at this point I have so much resources, it would benefit me to go ahead and start building some of the higher tech that's out there, and need to keep on top of that supply count. I'm almost supply blocked, which is a problem. And at this point, you know, the Zerg player really... Oh, that's kind of a weird... I probably shouldn't do that. Really want to keep ahead of the Zerg player on economy, because that actually puts pressure on him to expand to areas that he, you know, may not have wanted to expand to quite yet. So looks like he's sending in some guys in here just to make sure that things are okay. And we'll send these guys out here just to clear... Ooh! Oh, look at that. Just to make sure that things are okay there. We'll go ahead and move a set out here. Oh, looks like he's got a... Whoa! Hello! Okay, that's very interesting. So, well, let's just go ahead and bring them over there. And let's go ahead and try to build this expansion again. Once again, trying to keep up on the... that's very interesting. I wonder if I should start moving moving siege tanks over here, and ooh, whoa. Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch out for that. He's got a lot of units up here at the front. Mineral field depleted, huh? Meatless. I'm not even sure it's worth building banshees. I mean, I guess a base is under attack. Oh, it's gonna be a problem. Oh, that's not good. Let's see if I have enough here. I do not have enough. That's gonna be a real problem. I guess I could take every single Marine and try to run them back into the base. Oh. Uh-oh. I'm gonna come here and repair this missile turret here.
Mineral field depleted.
Keep your shirt on, Sparky.
Let's try to keep him under wraps here. Yeah, see, he's moving down there.
Mineral field depleted.
And looks like... Ooh. This is an interesting point in the game. Interesting because I have so many. Actually, let's just go ahead and cancel this guy.
Base is under attack.
Go! It's about to get heavy.
Vespine geyser exhausted.
Just trying so hard to keep this missile turret alive. It doesn't really matter. I don't care about the rest. Oh, they're just gonna get destroyed. That's a GG. Alrighty. Well, that was fun. Okay, well, you know, that game wasn't all that long. Well, let's just take a look and see, well, boy, 15 minutes? Yeah, yeah, we can run through it. Let's run through that real quick. Actually, let's, you know what, I hate that. I want to go back and see what the stats were, but that's fine. Alright, so let's check out this replay and see what was going on there. So, as Day9 would say, or as he said way back earlier on in his career, You should always execute with confidence and be critical in your review and confident in your execution. So not very confident in that execution, but we can be critical in this review, of course. So speeding up the time just a little bit here to get a sense of what's going on. So he did a really good job of scouting out the beginning of his base to make sure he could see any aggression coming up this front door to that expansion to block that any proxy barracks and that type of thing. Got another overlord out here checking out whether or not I'm going to be coming into this third expansion, which is also important as well. I'm expecting that we're going to see a second and maybe a third expansion coming out from the Zerg player, giving him a very strong economic advantage. That's one thing about the Terran versus Zerg matchup, is that the Zerg player is going to be expanding and trying to get a lot of money out right away. Okay, so here's probably a good time to take a pause point. So he's got 3 spine crawlers here, and at this point my army is pretty minimal. I've got just about as much army supply as he does. I think queens count as army supply as well, by the way. So at this point there's really, and to go across the entire map is a lot of work to do. So these spine crawlers are insurance in advance, you might say. So keeping control here. Now let's check on that income tag, because at this point he really should have more income than I do. Looks like it's pretty close actually. Just give it a quick pause, go over to the army supply tab. So he's actually, by building these spine crawlers and building all these Zerglings, he's actually on par for me for workers. So I should be expecting to see a lot more workers being built in the future. Now it's kind of interesting that he hasn't expanded yet, and that he hasn't really kept tabs on whether I'm expanding either. So you can see I'm expanding to a second here, and we should see a lot of so he's moving these spine crawlers up. Very interesting. So he's not doing all that much on his side. He's starting to stockpile up minerals and gas, which is fine for him. Putting down his spire, going to start building up. And he's had the Baleen tech for quite a while, so I'm almost surprised he hasn't built more Baleens right away. But you know, at this point he's just trying to macro up. Should be seeing a third expansion from him. And at this point I've got enough to remember that I was going out for my expansion and coming down to attack. So give a quick pause at this point and see what's going on. So if we look at the army tab, wow, I have a lot more army than he does, but he has a significant worker supply advantage. So at this point, and let's check on the units tab over here and see what he has for army. Ooh, wow, a lot of Zerglings, 41 Zerglings, and by this point at the 10-minute mark I've made 22 Marines. So that's kind of a good benchmark. As we've been playing this build 2 times now, we can say, oh, at the 10-minute 40-second mark we may have around 1 Marauder, 22 Marines, and our 3 tanks and 2 Banshees. Now one thing that's a little bit different is last time we hadn't expanded yet, and so this time it's a little bit different, and you can see he's excuse me, he's researching the Baneling speed, upgrade, and putting down 2 extractors likely at his expansion here, you can see there. And he's already got a an observer out to watch for trouble from Banshees. So he's got actually a pretty good defensive force. 3 of the Banelings can take out quite a few Marines. I mean, that 22 Marines can fall pretty quickly to a bunch of Banelings, so let's go ahead and get the speed going here. So then I'm messing around here trying to get the right SCVs to go with the right group and all that jazz, and here comes the big group. And at this point he's got one Zergling out here, one Zergling back here, which is a great way to try to see what's going on. He's got an Overlord over here at this place looking to see if I'm coming around this side, which is good. An Overlord over here to see if I'm going to try to do some kind of medevac elevator action into the natural expansion. So he's got a good coverage with his Overlords, checking this base out to see whether I'm going to expand there. So he's got really good vision, so he should see this coming and should be able to prepare adequately and build Banelings if necessary. So he sent a little guy up here, and that allowed him to see that I had a group force. And I'm not sure that he necessarily saw everything I had, including the Banshees, but he's going to see when the Banshees go ahead right there, he's going to see that they're coming in quite possibly. If he didn't there, he's going to see him here, because he's got vision. While these creep tumors are out, he has vision on that area. Now, one thing I want to do real quick, I've heard that your vision, the Zerg vision is not based on the creep spread, it's based on the creep tumors. So since I destroyed the 2 creep tumors, he no longer has vision of this area, even though he has creep spread in that area. So at this point, Now that's very interesting. Let's go ahead and try to back up just a little bit and see when he started building the banelings, because I think it'd be interesting to see if he did that in response to my action. See, here he's building 5 more, and at this point I had a Zergling. He had a Zergling die up there, so he may have known at this point that this group was coming and started building the banelings. So they're ready to go. He's got quite a few banelings here, and that's more than enough to take over, to just, you know, flow right over this group. Now what I really should have done was siege these siege tanks up, because I did have siege available, and use the Marines to try to bait the banelings out so the siege tanks could destroy them before we got too close. But of course, you know, a move to victory, right? Oh, and there they go. Now at this point, let's check the Army tab. He's ahead on workers. We're about the same on Army supply. Looks like I'm going to be able to kill this queen. That's pretty cool. What else is he? Oh, he's got these 3 mutalisks here, or these 4 mutalisks there. He's going to be able to clean that up pretty well. Ooh, and he's researching burrow. I wasn't really prepared for that at all either. So looking at the income tab, he was much higher on gas, and pretty close on minerals. So you can see here, because I got distracted and got taken away from keeping this production, I did take 4 SCVs off the mineral line, that he has stayed up with me on economy, although that's kind of an interesting point too, because the Zerg player really should be much higher. So it's almost surprising that with as many workers as he has, that he doesn't have more. But let's continue with this, and you can see he's up on the supply count already. So these Banshees are going to go away. Now those Banshees are a lot of supply. I think they're 3 supply each. So at this point I'm on the back foot, and you check out the Army supply, I'm significantly down. I'm at about half, and he's starting his 3rd, which was a pretty good reaction to all of that action there. So I mean, he held off a very strong attack. He killed a bunch of siege tanks. It's going to take me forever to build that many siege tanks again. So he knows that I'm going to be pulling back to my base to defend, and it's pretty safe for him to expand to this 3rd. And that'll give him the economic advantage that he's going to need to build enough units to cause a lot of trouble. Now at this point I could be sending my units around to try to harass him at different points, but that's actually what he wants me to do. The Zerg player is going to want me to... the advantage of the Zerg is speed, and so the Zerg player wants you to be moving your death ball around the map and trying to get it out of position. Wow, he's got a lot of Zerglings there. That's 4 tabs worth of Zerglings. We know that each tab is 24, so that's not quite close to 100 Zerglings over there. Is that just silly? That's just crazy. So he's got this nice batch of Zerglings here, and actually it's actually in his advantage to kind of show them and demonstrate to me I have this group here, because that forces me to stay within my base. And you can see that I'm producing a lot of things all at once here, but you know, with the Zerg ability to create units so quickly, it doesn't really matter if he sends a ton of units off to get killed, because he can just rebuild them fairly quickly, especially off of 3 hatcheries. It'd be interesting to see how much larva he has banked up, because that's another indicator of how many units he can build right away. Looks like he's staying on top of it, but he's got queens at each hatchery, and this one up to a layer, so he's getting plenty of larvae, you know, more than enough, and he's slowly building up this nice big flock of mutas. So once this gets up to a certain size, about what, like 25 or so, which he's really close to being there, this flock will be pretty much invincible, and he can use this to harass me for the entire rest of the game. The rest of his forces are really just to punish me for expanding or moving out where my units are not out. I mean, back here I'm fairly safe. I've got a bunch of siege tanks, etc. But once my ball of units tries to move out, see here he's checking out to make sure I'm not expanding, because as soon as I do, he knows that I'm going to have to be spreading out my units, and that's exactly what he wants. So here he is, building banelings here quite a bit. This is just going to be bad as we saw from before, but now we can see how bad it really was. Isn't that just wonderfully terrible? So I was at a huge army disadvantage by well, look at them all popping in there. I was at a huge army disadvantage by having most of my units killed by banelings and just a handful of mutas in that first push. That is the one disadvantage of Banshees: they can't attack air. So all of my anti-air was in those 22 Marines, which just got rolled over by the banelings. And so now at this point I'm at a huge disadvantage, and somewhere in there, if I would have scouted out and seen that he was on 3 base, I could have just, you know, packed everything up and moved in for an attack. I mean, at this point, he's just really playing with me. I would say I'm not really sure that there's really anything that I can do at this point to stop off this huge curse. Now, of course, one could argue, well, I could spend the 3,000 minerals that I've got banked up. That's a lot of Marines. What, I guess like 60 Marines, which is a lot. And I definitely have the supply. I could have definitely built 60 Marines. So I guess you could look at this point and say if I'd really kept up with that economy and production, which is what we said was our main goals. See, look at that. They just immediately evaporated those Zerglings. So I don't know, a couple of tanks may have been able to do quite a bit of damage against these guys. May not be quite as powerful as I thought they were, but definitely leading in with this harassment from the Mutalisks, and then using that to pull my Marines away from whatever front line he wants to pull me away from, opens me up to this Zergling harassment and these banelings. So saw that in action very good. But once again, I mean, I've got 3,500 minerals, 500, almost 600 in gas. I could have had 3 Thors back here with all that gas and plenty of Marines to hold off this Mutalisk aggression. But instead, like you just saw, falling behind in that production game, I make myself extremely vulnerable to a player who basically did what I said my intent was, which was to macro up and get a lot of resource gathering and then build a lot of units. And that's exactly what the Zerg player is doing, and he's got more than enough resources to do that several times over. And so you can see, now the other thing that's interesting here too, is we were fairly on top of things with both of us on 2 base, but he was able to make that transition to having 3 bases, whereas I wasn't. And so that really slowed down my ability to gain resources and really distracted me, because as you can see, I ran out at the main base and I had to come up with a strategy for getting to this 3rd, and because of that, he was able to just do a terrible amount of damage. And I mean, I guess I suppose that's kind of an interesting thing, how long those guys held out. Now let's just take a look at the units killed tab to see what that says. Now isn't that interesting? So we actually killed about the same number of units, which is an evidence that the Zerg player is very good, is doing very well against the Terran player, because in a typical game we'll see a lot more Zerg deaths than Terran deaths. So he did a good job of trying to conserve his units. But looking back, wow, those Mutalisks got whittled down to just about 5. That was not too bad. Of course, I sacrificed all of my my SCVs trying to keep that that missile turret alive. But yeah, he's still got a bunch left over. And looking back at his base, he can, if he really wanted to, he could build a ton of units almost instantaneously. Although there's really not that much going on back here. Not a lot of larvae left over, so he must have used that to make a bunch of stuff. So not much more in the game. Yeah, just like a couple of seconds left. I'll go ahead and play it out just for fun. But yeah, there you go. Economy and production leads to a win for my opponent instead of myself. And a note about bringing in your nice little bring your own Banshee into a Zerg base. You should probably siege up your tanks as soon as they start getting on creep, because otherwise you're just going to get rolled over by a bunch of Zerglings and Banelings. So, alright, well, good game, and we'll talk to you guys next time. See you later.